Bethany Manctalo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 23-24 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talking and Millwall Fan Show. I'm your host, George Lampey, and with me I have the No One Likes Us team of Ted Robinson, Debbie Julians and Jeff Burnige.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Welcome team and listeners. Don't forget to vote for the Millwall Community Trust in the Mayor of Lewisham's Awards. Right, we're going to discuss, guys, the Millwall Hull game. We're going to start with you, Ted. What did you think of that outcome of the 2-2 draw?
Well, I've got to be honest. We certainly deserved something out of the game, George. I thought we was good when we got ourselves in front the first part of the first half. Then for some reason, but the reason being there was two sort of mistakes within our defence that allowed them to be 2-1 up. They were a decent side. They could play a bit of football without that. But I've got to tell you, I thought the second half was one of our best halves of football that I've seen this season. And what I'm feeling at this moment in time about Millwall is, I was talking before the game that this, when you look at it, it's a fairly new side. You've got a whole new midfield with Denori and Campbell sitting in there. You got Nisbet still finding his way in the front line, being a forward in the Championship. You got two new wing backs in Brian and Norton Coffey. It's a side that's just, in my opinion, beginning to gel. It looked like it against Plymouth in the week. They was beginning to settle down, and it was just nice to see that they're actually settling down at home now and beginning to get their heads around what they need to do to win football matches at home. A bit unlucky at the end there with Amaku's chance at the end, but I was really pleased with the second half performance. It was a Millwall performance for me, and I think they needed it because they were getting on to them a bit at half time. But Hull were a good side. They played some decent football, but I think it was good, and I think it's better to come. Yeah.
Debbie, what was your take?
Yeah, I agree with Ted there an awful lot. Saturday's game was a game of two halves. Started with the back four, and then on the second half we went to the back three, and it was a different game altogether. And once we went with three defenders, they played well. McNamara made a couple of mistakes, but Queen Park Rangers wanted him, had an offer in for McNamara. It is very technically different. I wouldn't go into that. Jeff may be able to, and Phil certainly would, but playing the difference between the 4 and the 3. And we just dominated the second half. And I think, at the moment we have the highest crowds ever, really. And, we've got to be so positive because, as Ted said, they are gelling, they are coming along. And I'm very optimistic. And we're only 10 games in. There's a lot more to go.
Right. Well done, Deb. At least you're optimistic. Jeff, I didn't really like the reaction at half-time from the crowd. I understood it. McNamara, as Debbie said there, seemed to be having a bit of a bad day at the office by anybody's stretch of the imagination, wasn't he?
I agree with Debbie there. I think she made a good point. A lot of the crowd have been asking the manager to go with the back four. He did that. It didn't work very well. It meant taking Ryan Leonard out of a defensive position, putting him into midfield. Once we switched back to the back three at half time, Leonard was in the back three. And I just think Harding suits a 3 much better than a 4. That explains to me how we were so dominant in the second half. It was a really good performance. He took Danny McNamara off. I think how anyone thinks he was at fault for the first goal is beyond me, I must say. It would have taken a hell of a bit of play from him to track that lad who went straight down the middle. But overall on the game, I was very happy with the performance. And on the second half, we should have won that game, but for a couple of absolutely silly mistakes in the first half.
Ted, did you think having Bradshaw on in the second half made a lot of difference? I did personally, but I don't know what you thought.
Well, I think it's down to the whole shape, George. You're right. Bradshaw and Nisbet, I think, again, I'm talking about Gillian. At times that I've seen them, they look like they're beginning to get a bit of an understanding as well. But what Bradshaw does really well up the front there is he presses on their back four, which forces them to play a bit quicker than they want to, which in the second half, they was giving the ball away a bit more. But like Jeff just mentioned there, we went from a 4, and Debbie was saying, a 4 to a 3, which put Leonard back in there, which allowed, who I think are two of the best wing backs that we've had in a long while, with Brian and Norton Coffey, to push them back. And it was no surprise to me that it was one of them that scored in Joe Bryan, who, by the way, took it like a centre forward, to be quite honest, his goal. But you're right, George. I mean, some players can play on their own. You know, Steve Morrison comes to mind. You could play Stevie anywhere, couldn't you? You know, Bradshaw.
He was big and powerful, wasn't he? Big, strong, powerful.
He was. But I think if you play with a back three and wing backs, you need to have two. You know what I mean? You need to have two that are going to be up there. And that allows, and I think, again, talking about the gelling side of it, Zion Fleming's beginning to find his feet in the position that he's playing, because he's playing just behind me, the front two, and he's such a clever footballer that I think that position will absolutely suit him. And I'm hoping we'll see more and more improvement in his game as he goes on. But yeah, you're right, George. It made a lot of difference having Bradshaw up front.
Okay, we will take a break there and hear about our sponsors, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julians here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 813562. G&M Motors have been dear friends with the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
I'm your host, George Lampey, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Ted Robinson, Debbie Julians and Jeff Burnige. Many thanks to our sponsors at GM Motors. Why not go along, check the Hondas out and see what else they have on the site at Gravesend. Our next guest grew up playing football for several youth teams, including Stella Maris in Dublin. Since retiring from the sport, he has become recognised on Irish TV audiences as a football analyst covering the Premier League, Champions League and international football on RTE. He has also appeared on rival radio and TV stations in Ireland too. A promising footballer, he left Dublin as a teenager to join Manchester United as an apprentice. He did not break into the first team at United, but subsequently left to play for York City, Millwall, Charlton Athletic, Reading and Shamrock Rovers. He played for the Republic and Ireland too. Let's welcome the one and only Eamon Dunphy to the show. Hello, Eamon.
Hello, how are you? It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
Hi,
welcome,
Eamon.
Evening, Eamon.
Eamon.
Evening, Eamon.
That's the guy's Eamon, by the way. Yeah.
Good evening.
Eamon, great to have you on the show this evening. Before I hand you over to the panel, might you tell us how you happened to join the Lions from York City?
Billy Gray was the manager at the time, and I think he was the one who wanted to sign me. I'd only been at York 5 months, but I think I made an okay start, and I scored a goal at Brentford on my debut. And I think Billy liked footballers. He liked the game played in a certain way, and he was the one who wanted me. And I wasn't too expensive, and of course I loved Millwall, and it's still the first result I look for every Saturday. Unfortunately, in recent weeks, it hasn't been great.
Hi, Eamon. It's Debbie here.
Hi, Debbie. I played with
Hi.
your dad.
I know you did. I know. So very special.
He was a brilliant footballer.
Very special.
He was a very nice man as well. He was a gentleman.
On coming to the Den, you joined the team that would go on to create the record of 59 home games without defeat from the 22nd of August 1964 to the 14th of January 1967. I kind of remember that. My dad, Lenny Julians the Lion, was part of that side. What do you remember of his contribution?
Oh, he was a beautiful footballer. I think he really was. He played in the first division, which is now the Premier League. He played for Notts Forest, if I'm not mistaken, and he was a deep lying centre forward, a footballing centre forward, great goal scorer. He was, I think, one of the best players I ever played with, and that I'd include even playing for Ireland in that. He was a lovely footballer, very, very skillful, very intelligent user of the ball, and a very good finisher. And he had a very cool head, never flustered, very cool, very, very good player. It was a real pleasure. And he was a really very nice man. He was a special kind of dignity that he had that was quite unlike the rest of us.
That's not true. That is so lovely to hear, but that isn't true. You were a lovely, lovely team, and you showed it in the result. We did,
yeah.
Thank you.
I remember the last match of that run. It was at home to Carlisle, who were a good team.
Yeah.
And we went 1-0 down. My God. The Den was packed. And, of course, everyone knew what was on the line. We were going to make history. I think Liverpool were the team who held the record before we did. But we went 1-0 down, and we absolutely savaged them, playing down into the Coldblow Lane end in the second half of the match. And I think Harry Cripps scored, which is quite unusual. But we beat them 2-1. Or else we got a draw. Funnily enough, I'm not quite sure what the result was, but we didn't lose, which was the main thing.
2-1. It was
2-1,
I believe.
I remember that day as if it was yesterday.
Oh, do you know, I was there. I was little, but I was there.
Were you?
And I can, and I can remember. I can remember thinking, "What on earth are you doing to my dad?" Because I just tore his shirt to pieces, and he was up in the air, and all of you were all surrounded, and it was amazing, and it's so lovely to see.
Yeah, it was. It was a very happy day, and because we hadn't ever really won anything in a big way, this meant a lot to us because there's 92 clubs in the Football League, and to hold that record was very special. And you could understand it. The Den was a pretty intimidating place to walk into in those days, the old Den, especially the away team dressing room, which hadn't been painted for 100 years.
But they say that's where it started from, the intimidation, if not necessarily.
Yes.
It was because you were so undefeated, and they feared as well. What a fantastic team.
Yeah, Coldblow Lane itself, when you pulled up outside the ground, I mean, you come through a warren of little streets, and then you walked out on the pitch, and the pitch wasn't great. It was bumpy, and the crowd were hostile, and it just felt, ooh, I wish I was anywhere other than here. And then when the match started, the Lions had a roar, and if they weren't roaring at the opposition, they were roaring at us. But it was very atmospheric. It was wonderful.
I don't. As my dad used to describe it, as the crowd or the extra is the extra player, and if you if you feel exhausted, you feel everything. If you hear that roar, it makes you a superhuman player. It's
Yep, it certainly gave us a lift.
Team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some very good professionals as well.
Oh, fantastic team.
Yeah.
Hi, Eamon. It's Ted here.
Hi, Ted.
All right, mate. I always thought Millwall could have got done under the Trade Description Act with that away dressing room. It wasn't really something you could call a dressing room, I don't think. But
No.
let's move on a little bit from that wonderful team, Eamon, to you were a member of the class of 71, the Mill side that failed by just 1 point to gain promotion.
Oh yeah,
to the Football League First Division, or Premier as we know it now. We had an evening with Brian King, Steve Brown, Dennis Burnett and Alan Dorney who reflected on that season. But what is foremost in your memory from that season, Eamon?
Well, I thought we had a great team with those players that you mentioned. Alan Dorney was a particularly friend. We were close friends. And Dennis Burnett was a wonderful player. And Brian King was a fantastic goalkeeper. We also had Keith Weller, Derek Posse, who were really very good players. Alder, also. We had a very good team. My most vivid memory is this. We played Preston in the last match, and we knew we had to beat them. And we knew that Birmingham were playing at Sheffield Wednesday. And we were 2-0 up against Preston, and we were going quite well. It was comfortable. And then with about 20 minutes to go, a buzz went round the ground. And so the people used to have to listen to the radios in those days. And they had transistor radios. And we got the message that Birmingham were losing at Sheffield, which meant we were going to finish second. And that's the way it stayed. And at the end of the match, we thought Birmingham had lost and we had won, and therefore we were going to the First Division. The crowd invaded the pitch. They carried us off the pitch. It took us ages to get in the dressing room. We got in the dressing room, and it was Dennis Burnett who said, "Hold on a minute, lads. Let's listen to the radio for the proper results." And Birmingham had won. So it was a terrible letdown, a real shock, actually. So for about 15 minutes, we thought we were in the First Division, which was such a big deal. It would have changed our lives, and we weren't. So that was a tough day. In those days, only 2 clubs went up. 3 go up now, and in that situation, we would have gone up.
I was on the pitch. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jeff. I was just going to say I was on the pitch.
No, go on, Ted, carry on.
So was I, actually. Yeah.
And I think it was I can't remember I think the rumour just went around exactly the same as how it started. And you could see it was a bit like a Mexican wave where people's heads were going down thinking, oh, God, we've all celebrated here and it's wrong. You know, it was an awful moment, I've got to be honest.
Eamon, Jeff here.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
Well, I think one thing I would say is I don't think it was very long after that it was 3 up. So again, we're a little bit unfortunate in those days. You know, if there'd been 3 going up, we'd have been in the First Division. Who knows what would have happened? Because that side, I think that side would have held its own in the First Division. There were some fantastic players in there, and it was a good team. But I'd like to ask you, later on in August 1988, after we had won promotion, We went to
Yes.
Hull, didn't we, at the end of that season, and got promotion as champions. In fact, we finished 4 points clear of at the top of the division. We didn't just creep up. But that August, before the First Division season started, you wrote an article. Can't remember what it was in. It might have been unlike you. I think it might have been in the Daily Telegraph, not your normal part of the media, called Millwall versus the Mob. And you were very kind to my father in that article, and you weren't unkind to me. Can you remember what motivated you to write that article? Did you get commissioned, or did you offer it to the papers, or what?
Maybe I got commissioned. I can't remember how I came to write it, but I do remember writing it, and I know no reason to be unkind. I kind of, you were good to us as players. You were, and your father was actually. Not all directors of football clubs were in those days. Used to travel with us. I think genuine love for the club was there, on your part, and certainly in my part. Sometimes it was tough at Millwall. I wasn't always in the team, but I was mostly in it. But I loved Millwall, and actually when they got in the First Division, I think Teddy Sheringham, Tony Cascarino were playing. I went back for one day to watch one of the games in the First Division, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We went into the centre circle. Barry Kitchener, God rest him, was one of the players that was there that day, I think. And I no reason to be unkind to you at all. On the contrary,
Well, I hope you come back again one day, because I'm sure if you were presented to the crowd, you would get a brilliant reception, because those days
well,
are
I'm 78 now, Jeff, so you better hurry up.
Well, get yourself over. It's quite cheap on Ryanair. Get yourself over.
I just said you will be coming over soon, because we're going to do the reunion for the 59 games. So don't you worry about that, Eamon. You'll get a lovely reception. Yeah, no, we will. We'll do that in the new year. You were part of the blue and white stripes that you played in. That's always sends a love through my heart. Yeah, oh, was it?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, it was Benny who changed it. He thought it would make us like Real Madrid. Didn't quite work out that way. But we did play in the blue and white when your dad was playing for us.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, to me, that sends a sort of a very warm feeling to me. What other players stuck out in your mind, and why, in the blue and white stripes?
Harry Cripps. Harry was a great character on and off the pitch, and he was really the life and soul of the dressing room. Brian Snowden was a great Millwall captain. God rest him. I think Brian's dead. He was the captain of the team that got promotion that I joined. Tommy Wilson. Tommy was a really good player. Tommy was also the same vintage as Brian Snowden. I was a younger lad than them. Keith Weller and Derek Posse. Barry Bridges played for Millwall for a while. And Barry had been an England international, played for Chelsea. Brian King, I remember very well. A great character, Brian. I think he spent quite a bit of his life in Scandinavia, scouting or something. But Brian was a character and was a really great goalkeeper. Alex Stepney as well, I was lucky enough to play with. Alex was a real good goalkeeper who went on to win a European Cup Winners' Medal with Manchester United. So there's many players I remember with great affection. Alan Dorney was a great friend of mine and a terrific player. Sort of underrated, understated character. He didn't put on much of a show, but he's a really, really good player. We had some marvellous players there.
Absolutely. Tommy
George
was
Jacks.
At the game last week.
Tommy
Sorry,
Wilson.
Eamon, I missed that. Yeah, he was there
George
last
Jacks
week.
is another player.
Oh, George Jacks, yes.
Tommy Wilson. Really?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
How old is he now, Tommy? He must be in his 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
I would have thought,
he's certainly over 80.
He's a
Eamon, if
lovely
you're
player,
79,
real
he's
good
definitely
footballing
older than
centre
you.
half. He was a very good player. Him and Brian Snowden were a pair. Very cultured, very read the game very well. He was a real top player, Tommy.
Yeah, and a gentleman too. But hopefully, as I said, we'll all get that reunion for those. Yes, and sadly, Brian did pass away. But Tommy and Alex Stepney and a few of the others will get together.
I'd love that. I really, really would.
Yeah, it'd be special.
Yes.
Eamon, you were for many years an accomplished Republic of Ireland international, and I remember this, and became Millwall's most capped player until your record was only beaten very recently by Republic's David Ford in 2014. What was it like playing for Ireland in the 60s and 70s then, Eamon?
Well, it was hard going, although we had some very good players. Johnny Giles, as he was known in England, and we had some very good players, but we had lots of players like me who weren't quite up to international level. And in those days, there was no small nations like Latvia and all that. When you went playing international football, you were playing against Spain, the big nations, and it was tough. But it's an honour to play for your country, of course. And I played 23 times for Ireland, and I'm very proud of that. Not unduly proud, because it obviously wasn't a vintage age, but I'm proud I played for Ireland. And they went on with Jack Charlton as the manager and some great players to do very well in the World Cup of 1990 in particular, got to the quarter final. So playing for your country is an honour. But to be perfectly honest, I'm very proud and pleased to have played for Millwall and to be remembered by Millwall fans, because they were good people. They were tough on me sometimes because I didn't put my foot in as much as they thought I should do. They thought I was a coward. And when I was walking in at the cold blow lane end to the dressing room, sometimes they say, "Dunphy, you fucking puff." Jeff will confirm that.
That was more like
sorry about
that.
Sorry.
We didn't mean it.
I think Jeff's got a question for you, Eamon.
I think there'll be some work for the editor there on that particular comment. But
sorry about that.
Look, like politicians, most footballers' career ends on a low point. And in your last full season, you wrote this book, didn't you? Only a Game, Diary of a Professional Footballer. It was a very well received book. It's still mentioned as one of the best autobiographies in football. It's still in print.
You can still buy it.
That's because they haven't sold it out yet, Eamon. But you weren't quite so kind to me in that book as you were in the article earlier mentioned. But what drew you? You weren't kind to anybody in that book. But what drew you to write it?
Myself, Jeff.
True, that is true. But what made you write it? Had you got an eye on a journalistic career at that point?
Yes, but that's not why I wrote the book. When I did write the book, I didn't even know if it was going to be published. But I wanted to put on the record what it was really like to be a footballer. All kids, lots of kids want to be footballers, particularly if you think back to those days, which is the 1970s. It's nothing like it was. You know, if I was playing for Millwall now, I'd probably be on 25, 30 grand a week, or maybe more. I don't know what the going rate is, but we weren't on that. We were on 30 quid a week if you're lucky. Now, also it's a tough life, and I wanted kids to know what football was really like, and how it can be great, but it can also be extremely hard. And all the football books up to that time were written by top players and painted a very rosy picture. And football is a tough game, and at the level we played at. So that's why I wrote it, really. I don't think I was unkind to you, Jeff. Maybe there was a row with the directors of Millwall about me getting kids educated, and there's a horrible letter by the secretary of the club in a program, a match day program, which was absolutely outrageous. If Mr. Dunphy thinks he can do this, and Mr. Dunphy thinks that, but anyway, that's if I was there for 9 seasons. When I look back on it, they were all lovely. It doesn't mean there weren't rocks along the way.
I must get that book.
It's called Only
Eamon,
a Game.
it's
It's still in print, actually. Penguin. There's a new
I think
edition
it-
out
I
now.
think
They
it
don't
was
send any royalties anymore, but there you go.
It was the first of the football books, really, wasn't it, Eamon?
It was the
The
best received
players
until
writing a book.
Nick Hornby wrote
Yes.
a wonderful book about Arsenal.
But I thought you set the trend, actually, didn't you? I believe so. Look, it's been great having you joining us, Eamon, and there is so much untapped history that we could explore. You have to come back before we go. I remember Millwall playing the great Tottenham team, the champions, and the first team to do the double, weren't they? Like England, Jimmy Greaves, great team. Come to the cold blow. I remember I didn't breathe for an hour and a half. The crowd was so big.
That's right.
Now,
0-0.
in that game, you shone, and I think the greatest manager I believe Tottenham has ever had, even up to today. He wanted to buy you, didn't he, from that performance alone?
He did, yeah. Yeah, and
it never happened.
Well, in those days, Jeff would understand this. The club had all the power, and Millwall didn't want to sell me. That was my understanding of it. It would have meant I was, going to a very big club, and it would have made a big difference in my life. But in those days, footballers really were slaves. You signed a contract, which was a one-way contract. You couldn't leave the club, but they could sack you. But that's been done away with now, and all the balance of power is with the players and the agents. And I don't like agents. And the players, many of them now, are extremely greedy. So, things have changed. Not necessarily. Players get more money now than we did, and I don't begrudge them that. But for a long time, the great players didn't get paid at all, and some of them died in extreme poverty. And indeed, just leave you with this thought, perhaps. Alf Ramsey died in a care home, and Bobby Robson was paying for his care. Just think about that.
Eamon, it's been a pleasure having you on here tonight. We look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future at the Den. And love to you and your family. And thanks for coming on. I'm sure the guys.
It's my pleasure.
Eamon,
Thanks a lot, Eamon.
special,
Thanks a
very
lot.
special.
Thank
It's very
you very
precious
much.
and heartwarming.
Thank you very much. And
Cheers,
I
Eamon.
hope to be invited to the commemoration of the Carlisle game.
Yeah,
and I'd
I'm
be
sure
delighted
they
to
will.
come. And
All right.
my fondest regards to all Millwall fans, all Lions.
Thanks, mate. Thank you very much. We'll
You're
take a
a
break
very
there,
special man.
and we're here about Harvey's Den Cafe.
I'm Harvey Brown, and do you know that Harvey's Den Cafe is open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. till late? Well, you do now, and you can enjoy a full English anytime and a variety of lunchtime mains from jacket potatoes with fillings, a whole range of other delights with chips or mash, to a chili con carne or match day Saturdays. We are open from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There are sarnies and of course the full English too. Tea, coffee and much more are always available. Mum Vicky, Dad Dean and me Harvey look forward to welcoming you. We are upstairs at the Lions Centre where the Millwall Community Trust are in Ballina Road. See you soon.
I'm starving after hearing that advert. I'm your host, George Lampey, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Ted, Debbie and Jeff. Check out Harvey's Den Cafe, meet Harvey and the family and enjoy what's on offer every Saturday before a game or a Tuesday night. Now let's go to the bit where we hear from Alice Barr. I can't believe that she is at senior school now. Keep us posted on what you are up to, Alice. Alice.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to, and what is next for Garion Rollitt's Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Thanks as always, Alice. Our Eamon caught up with Paul Odin from Millwall Romans and the Pride General Manager. Let's hear what Paul has to say.
Hi, it's Paul Odin over at the Millwall Romans with a quick update for the week. Romans travelled away this week to West London against Titans on our non-familiar grass. Very hot day. We set up in our more familiar 3-5-2 formation. We didn't look particularly comfortable really throughout the whole game, although we did manage to have some spells of playing it round. We did go 1-0 up thanks to James Baker slotting a cracking goal down to the left-hand side of the Titans goalkeeper. Some sloppy defending low followed from two very well worked corners from Titans, but very, very sloppy defending from us at the back, leading us to go into half-time at 2-1. Coming in at half-time, I think we had a bit of a frustrated team talk from Rob Barr and Joe Lemonius just on our performance. And Titans are a big, strong team, and I don't think we were matching them in terms of sort of physicality and winning our individual battles. That seemed to be the problem. But with a few sort of tweaks, we were trying to sort of push on and get the wing-backs into play and get that space. Again, although they're a big physical team, they probably lack a bit of pace at the back, which we weren't really exploiting. Second half was certainly much better, although I don't think we necessarily fired on all cylinders again, but we certainly played some much better football, created quite a few chances, but it just didn't seem to be our day. We did manage to put a nicely worked through goal, a beautiful ball from Bass into Luke Charleston's feet, pretty much on the edge of the box, beating the offside trap and slotting it home to make it 2-2. But it just wasn't our day to actually nick the final goal, unfortunately. So we finished the game 2-2. Currently on 2 points in the London Unity League with playing 2 and obviously drawing 2.
Jeff Burnige fired a report for Maritime Radio following the Lionesses' fantastic win against Auuthor ladies.
This is Jeff Burnige reporting on Millwall Lionesses after last week's 11-0 victory in the FA Cup. Millwall Lionesses extended their scoring spree with an 8-0 hammering of Aylesford in the London and South East Regional League yesterday. The caretaker management team of Alex Russell and Adam Rowland made just the one change, recalling Tyra Poole at right back for Millie Connell, who came on in the second half at left back. They have instituted a settled side, but competition for places is intensifying, with last week's 4-goal sharpshooter Grace Laverick again coming on from the bench. The goals in this victory came from Emma Witter, 2, Liv McGregor 2, Chloe Burr, Grace Seeley, Shannon Drew and the player of the match, Ella Bailey from midfield. Aylesford had a frustrating afternoon, culminating in a red card for right back Becky Burnham. Next Sunday's match for the Lionesses at Ashford has now been switched to the Lionesses home ground of St Paul's in Rotherhithe due to the unavailability of Ashford's famous Homelands Stadium. I caught up with Liv McGregor after the game yesterday and asked her about her first 2 goals in a Millwall shirt. Liv, it was your first competitive goal for the club.
Yes.
How do you feel today went?
Do you know what? At the beginning, we looked really sharp, keeping the ball well. I think we've been working a lot in training on finding passes to feet and just being patient. I think it really paid off for us today.
Yeah, and the goal? Describe that.
Sorry, I can't even remember it, to be honest. It all happened a bit quick. Just come in, driving in, and I just saw my chance and I thought, got to hit the corner. Yep. Yeah.
It's nice to be back in winning ways, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
What about next week? How do you feel about next week game at Ashford?
Next week, well, we can't wait for it now. We just want to keep improving, keep the flow going and keep progressing as a team.
Thanks, Liv. Have a good week's training.
Thanks a lot, mate. Take care.
Jeff, have you got anything you'd like to add about the Lionesses?
Just to reiterate, that game is listed as being Ashford away in some places, but it has been switched to the home ground at Rotherhithe. The following week, we've got the FA Cup game also at home, and that's against Margate. And we're getting close to the rounds where we might get one of the bigger clubs. So that's going to be one to look forward to on Sunday week.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Right, club football is on a break at the moment with the international break underway. Millwall's Tom Bradshaw came on as a second-half substitute home to Gibraltar on Wednesday evening. Remain SA started for England's under-19s in their 0-0 draw against Montenegro. Adio Muku is in action on Friday evening when the Republic of Ireland's under-21s face Lampey under-21s, and George Savile and Northern Ireland will face San Marino on Saturday afternoon. We will take a break there and hear what Harvey Brown has to say about the Lions Food Hub.
Hi, Harvey Brown here. I am proud of the Lions Food Hub, which is jointly owned by Kelly and Ellen Webster, and they have been supporting families within our community for over 2 years on Millwall match days. If you would like to donate to them, they have a match day donation hub by the SE16 bar at Coldblow Lane, end of the ground, where they accept any food or money and toiletry donations. If you can help, any donations will be received with thanks.
I'm your host, George Lampey, and with me I have the No One Likes Us team of Ted Robinson, who's coughing in the background there, Ted Julians and Jeff Burnige. If you can, please bring items or financial donations to the food app at the end of the Coldblow Lane of the ground on match days. Our second guest is a young lady who goes to the den with her granddad, who is our very own Ted Robinson. She likes her football very much and has recently been involved in a campaign with the Arsenal and England Lionesses Beth Mead. Blimey. In fact, in the campaign, they call our guest Mini Mead. Let's say hello to Sadie Rose. Hello, Sadie.
Hi.
Hi, Sadie
Welcome,
Rose.
Sadie.
Hello.
She says hi.
Welcome, Sadie. Welcome, Sadie Rose. I'm George. Your granddad said you should know me as Grumpy George, or you won't know who I am. And just want to ask you a little question before I let you go over to the panel. What's it like going to the football with your granddad on a Saturday?
He usually shouts and swears a lot.
Oh, he does.
Do you mind?
Oh.
Do you mind?
Is he a cuddly granddad?
Yeah, I'm cuddly granddad, aren't I?
Not really.
Oh, she's not sure. No.
Tell George why you like coming with me.
Because he buys me sweets.
Terrible. Terrible
He
granddad.
just bribes you. He just bribes you, say. That's all he does. He just bribes you, doesn't he? Yes. I think Debbie's got a question for you, Sadie.
Hi, Sadie Rose. I used to go when I was your age too to see Millwall. It's fantastic, isn't it? So I'm Debbie, and what is it that got you involved with the BBC Sports Personality and England Lioness Beth Mead? And what were you promoting?
It is a campaign for Sports Direct and Nike to promote Monster Kickabout. Their aim is to put the all back into football. They ask for all primary schools to sign up, and they will receive free equipment and resources for 4 weeks of football fun. They want to promote that anyone can play and enjoy football, no matter what ability you are, how tall or small, or how loud or quiet you are. Football is for everyone.
Oh, Sadie Rose, so true, and well done, well said, and fantastic work you're doing.
Sadie Rose,
Thank
hello.
you.
It's Jeff Burnige here. It's so nice to hear you. Do you wear a Millwall shirt when you go with your granddad?
Yeah.
Which one? An old one or a new one?
A new one.
Does he give you?
Well, it will be.
Oh, he ain't
It will
you
be.
one of
The
his
club
old
shop
Andy
give me the
Powell
wrong
ones.
size.
Right, now I want to ask you.
It was her birthday Tuesday, and the club shop give me the wrong size. So, but she will get it.
I want to ask you, Sadie Rose, about meeting Beth Mead. She had a wonderful European Championships a year ago, but sadly she got injured and missed the recent World Cup. Very, very sad that she missed it. What was she like when you met her?
It was amazing to meet Beth Mead. She was really nice and funny. She told me all about her dog called Rona, and she told me she was excited to get back playing football after her knee injury. I was lucky to get the chance to kick a football with her, which was really fun and an experience I will remember forever. I'm the luckiest girl because I got to meet my idol and hope I can one day be a lioness like her.
Well, that's
Oh,
lovely,
nice.
but before you can be an England Lioness, you might have to be a Millwall Lioness. So we'll watch this space.
I think her granddad will have to stop buying her sweets if she wants to be a lioness. I think. Not yet exactly the right diet, but there you go. Who's your favourite player? Everyone will be interested in that down at Millwall at the moment. Fleming. There we go.
Yeah.
And your granddad doesn't
Yeah.
swear, does he? Because people listen to this and they'll be listening out for me.
You still swear.
I'll still swear. All right. Okay. I'm not going to win that argument.
Hey, it's been lovely having you on, and we will look out
George,
for
can I
you.
just say, George, can I just say I've got 3 other grandchildren, and after this interview, none of them are coming on.
I shall certainly look out for you, Sadie Rose. Now you know me as Grumpy George. That's going to be. And once you grow into that shirt that your granddad has given you when you're about 24, you'll be laughing, won't you? So, but it's lovely having you on, and we hope to see you all again. Yeah, we all hope to see you again soon. All right, and you'll come on and talk to us.
Sadie Rose, you will play for the Lionesses. And happy birthday for Tuesday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Well done, Sadie Rose. Look forward to seeing you one day soon.
Precious.
We will take a break there. Bye. Bye. We will take a break there and listen to Bethany McEnloe talking about the matchday programme.
Hi, Bethany here. Want a matchday programme? You'll find them with sellers outside the ground by the gates at Zampa Road, Stockholm Road and Senegal Road. They cost £1 and the sellers ask if you can have the right money, as change will be difficult. If you want to get a message, photos of special events, memorials, or just ones for good luck to be included, email smprogram@protonmail.com. That is smprogramme at protonmail.com. It's a great read.
I'm your host, George Lampey, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Grandad Ted, Debbie Julians and Jeff Burnige. Have your pound coin ready to buy a programme. He's got another 3 granddaughters. They're all got to come on now, isn't it? It's going to be a nightmare, isn't it?
No,
right.
Two granddaughters and 2 grandsons.
Oh, right. It goes on. They'll take up most of the season, Ted, won't they? Right. We are all looking forward to the next... We are all looking forward to the next game. But in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans and those interested in football.
Right, Sands United work hard to help men to deal with baby loss. Well, they are holding a charity football match for Baby Loss Awareness Week 2023 versus Goals for Gosh, managed by Millwall fan Tamer Hassan, on Sunday the 15th of October. It is a 4 p.m. kickoff and gates open at 2:30 p.m. at Aveley FC, and the postcode is RM15 4PX. Tickets are on sale now. Under 16s are £5, adults are £10. You can purchase tickets by going to eventbrite.com and search for Sands United London versus Goals for Gosh. That's figure 4 and all one word. One more time, Sands United London versus Goals for Gosh. That's the figure 4 and all one word. And it's good night from me.
The Millwall Community Trust, they need your votes. They have been nominated for 2 awards in the Lewisham Mayor's Business Awards 2023. The 2 awards they have been nominated for is Best Visitor Attraction as well as Best Community Contribution. To vote, go to their website or look out for their QR code on social media. I've voted. Get voting. Be proud. Good night from me.
Why not spend an evening with the Lions legends? Millwall Community Trust is hosting an evening with the Lions legends this October, and the legends on this occasion helping to raise crucial funds for the Lions Food Hub are Byron Webster, Tony Craig and David Ford, as well as listening to untold stories. You'll be able to meet and greet these former Lions in a casual and friendly environment, and tickets cost just £10 for all ages, and that'll include sausage and mash with onion gravy. There is a vegan option available. All profits from the evening will go towards supporting the Lions Food Hub, Millwall's dedicated food bank, helping those most vulnerable in our local community. The evening starts at 7 p.m, runs till 10 p.m, and with limited spaces available, don't hang around. Head over to millwallfc.co.uk to purchase your ticket. And with that, it's good night from me.
Don't forget to be able to listen to the No One Likes Us team brings you reports from our games both home and away for the Lions, Lionesses, and also updates on Community Trust matters on Maritime Radio. Maritime broadcast on 96.5 FM. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, social media sites, and all popular podcast sites. That's it from me. Thanks, Ted.
Cheers, George. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Debbie.
Oh, thank you. It was lovely.
Cheers.
And thank you to all of you.
Cheers, Jeff.
Cheers, George. Let's have a good,
thank you for listening.
Good few days.
Thank you for listening, everybody, and thank you to Eamon and Sadie Rose for being great guests. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night, everybody. There you go.